I always think about doing these things live because but it would only be a few minutes. And what I need to do is try and figure out, I got to find an editing program because I'll have these epiphanies or these ideas and I don't get them down. They'll come back to me here and there. And if I can, I write them down. But this one stuck with me for the last few days. This whole thing is quantum. At least that's the route I'm taking. It may not be, but to me, it almost has to be. And about the other people that are around us, the people that we don't associate with like we used to, the people in our families that deny it, even if they see it, if they see the Mandela effects and think we're crazy. We can go back to where I was talking about how your dominant consciousness, where you reside with your thinking, when you get down to it, you're the only one in that dimension, we'll call it. But we interact with other people in our timeline. I use the straw analogy where you got a bunch of straws in here, and this is one timeline within parameters, and there's infinite timelines inside within these parameters. And now we have the same thing over here where we see the Mandela effects and we're shifting consciously, and we know it, or at least we think it, we feel it. It's one of the theories out there. Since it's quantum, when I was in Mississippi and I exposed the girl to Sex and the City, and she kept saying, yes, it's Sex and the City, and found out right there, it was like the day before she saw Sex and the City. That morning, she saw Sex and the City. Well, when I exposed her to it and she saw Sex and the City, she shifted. Right then and there, she shifted into the timeline that I'm interacting with, that it's always been Sex and the City. What she did after that, was up to her. Did she stay there, or did she shift back to Sex and the City? Did she stay in Sex and the City, but go on believing she misremembered? She did it then. I did it 2 years prior. Time doesn't exist here. When people are exposed to it, they shift. I don't feel like, she picked up Sex and the City. I think the day before it was Sex in the City for her. I don't think it's always been Sex and the City when there was a specific time that it shifted. I think these things shift at different times for people. When you're exposed to it, that's when it shifts. That's when you see the shift. I've seen things shift right before my eyes. I've heard other people say the same thing. Everybody's shifting in their own time. And what I'm getting at is, since it's quantum, there is no time. It doesn't matter when somebody finishes the race. It doesn't matter when somebody figures out that they can shift their consciousness into any experience they want. They don't have to go by any guidelines, whatever your beliefs are, whatever your truths are, you can change them. I don't care what they are. I'm not going there, but I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be anything you've been taught. You can simply shift your consciousness into a timeline where things are the way they are that you want to experience them. That's for us, and I'm going to actually call us the 144,000 they speak of in the Bible. It just makes sense to me. I mean, there's other things that go along with that, so maybe not. But I don't think there's that many of us in this timeline. Okay, I think all these other people are off in another timeline where they are still experiencing three-dimensional reality, still experiencing reincarnation, and they just keep doing it. Do they revert back to a time of the Dark Ages when life just began? Probably. I think I remember reading sometime in the 80s, 90s that, there's going to come a time, probably 2012, where you're either going to move on and evolve. I think it was ascend at the time, or revert back to an Earth and start all over again, depending on what your beliefs were, where you were following. Are you totally wrapped up in 3D physical reality and the programming that's been given to you? Or were they wrapped up so much into go home, work, pay the government, do what I'm told, all into authority, having no mind of their own, just doing what they want? Well, they're going to have to revert back. Guess what? It doesn't matter if that's the case, if that's what happened. It doesn't matter. That's where they were. There is no time. It doesn't matter when people want to be woken. They've already probably decided that, yes, I want to be awoken now, or no, I want to experience some more 3D physical reality. I think, it's like every time I expose this to someone, I'm starting to come into a lot of, I want to say, computer programs, because these people are off in another timeline with different parameters somewhere, but I am still interacting with them because, I don't know, we have to. It's an aspect of this person that's not where her dominant consciousness is, but she totally blew me off. Shocked the heck out of her with the JFK thing, but totally blew me off. But that's what I want to get to, is reminding me of other stories in the bar, and I want to get to them too. But, what I'm getting to is the people in our lives that think we're crazy and don't interact with the Mandela effect, don't see them. I don't think their dominant consciousness is here anyway. They are here for us to interact with in whatever way. They're going to wake up in their own time. They're going to wake up when they need to wake up. I don't think their dominant consciousness is anywhere near ours. Okay? I think we're becoming more aware of shifting consciousnesses. I mean, I keep saying if that's what it is, that's what it is for me. That's my truth. That's my beliefs. And apparently I could change that. But I tend to shift my consciousness constantly recently. If I see something I'm not feeling right, I just say, okay, well, is that a problem? Is it a problem with me? All this gets wiped away right away. And I'm going, no, you know what? Let's just, I'm going to exist in a timeline where, and it's all words that really mean nothing and can be interchanged with other ones, but I'm going to exist in a timeline where this person is not fighting with me at the bar. 1 second he's all angry, and the next second he's like, hey, let's, and it seems to work. Seems to work for me easier and easier with things that don't have to be instant. The surrendering part of learning how to shift to what you more desire, I look back on it, and that's when I learn, because while it's going on, you can't, because you can't really think about it. You already have to know it and let it go. I want to come up with an example on that, but the surrender thing eludes me, and things happen properly when I seriously surrender. And I know what I mean. I guess I just can't articulate it properly. And I go back and look, and I'm, well, that's why that happened, because I finally surrendered to it, instead of dwelling on it. One of the stories at the bar I want to get to. See, I wanted to keep every topic straight instead of just constantly going all over the place. So I think the big message here was, it's not linear for us. Time doesn't really exist for us. The people who see the Mandela effects and know that there was an E here, and that the whole symbol used to be slanted. The people who see these things and know that, look, that's not the way it was. Now, whether you believe that it's changing, whether you believe that it changed and you didn't, which I don't feel. I feel that you're the one that's changing constantly with Mandela effects. Every time you see one, it may have changed in the 1960s for some people. you know, and now you're finally seeing the change right now. You don't know when it changed because it changed that day for you. It's like when the JFK thing came up. It was, I'm going to say 17. No, it was 16, right? May of 16. When did that change? I mean, I saw it in the 80s. There was 4 people, and you know, I could have changed any time. The day that I was exposed to it is the day it changed for me. You know, it's when you're exposed to it. It's quantum. People are going to be affected when they're going to be affected. So does it really matter if I expose it to them? I think, yeah, maybe, sure. They probably wanted to be exposed on some level because at some point on that timeline, it's going to hit them. Even if you're talking to them down here and they're, you know, out skiing over here, they're going to pick it up on some wavelength. Which kind of segues into this. There's a guy comes sit down at the bar, and I go over to him, hey, what can I get you? And he's just staring at my shirt. I got the Monopoly Guys Mandela Effect, right? He's just staring at the shirt. I goes, Jesus. And I knew he was looking at the shirt, so I figured he was going to bring it up. Let me just back up a little bit. I said, yeah, these are my beers, both sides, nothing on tap. And he says, go ahead, get me whatever he says I forget, and he got a shot. I set him up, and he's still staring at my shirt. And I said, so do you know what this is? He says, yeah, I've been trying to get away from it for a year, maybe longer. He goes, I've seen the stuff. I've seen these 2 things change, like the Berenstein Bear thing. I knew that changed before it got online. He goes, but I ignored it. There was no way that happened. I kept thinking, geez, there's no way. I know it was an EIN. I know it was an EIN. And he was telling me reasons why he knows it was EIN. And I'm like, wow, yeah, you would know it's EIN. And I tried to break the film out. I did, as a matter of fact. I don't think I might have got some of the Berenstein Bear conversation. Don't know if I get an editing machine, I'm going to have so many back tapes on people, so many conversations I should have filmed, and it was amazing. But he's like, yeah, I ran away from that right away because, you know, I saw it. I finally cleared my head where, yeah, I misremembered, and now everybody else is saying it changed. And he was getting upset, angry, upset, not upset, but angry. Conversations going on. We're just chatting away. I break out the camera because somebody said something about suicide, killing yourself, different dimensions, different timelines, the Schrodinger effect and all this. They're bringing that stuff up. So I break out the camera for all this. I'm just kind of talking randomly. I hope I do get this up because you got to see when I start telling them about the Mississippi experience I had seeing Jiffy and Skippy on the shelf at the same time and going home and seeing on MandelaEffect.com, which you could probably go to those threads and find this conversation. 15 threads. If you go to MandelaEffect.com and then go to the memory threads. And great read. I mean, great read for me because I was exposed already, had a few of the major experiences with the stars, the orbs, and now I'm reading these threads on all these Mandela effects that these people are coming up with, and other subjects are coming up, and Fiona Broome, or the operator of the site, and coined Mandela effect. Although I know Mandela effects were happening before the phrase was coined, and whatever they were calling it, I don't think they were. People just weren't open enough to come out with, hey, you know, McDonald's just changes a McDonald's. You know, for me, that was 79. And I just thought they modernized the sign back. So the memory threads is a great read. Anyway, I got on there. Jiffy and Skippy, they're telling me Jiffy doesn't exist. I said, no, I was at the supermarket. I just saw them on the shelf. I sat there looking at it, staring at it, went into one of my staring phases, and I kept reaching for my camera but would not take a picture because I kept thinking, why isn't somebody getting sued? I mean, my whole life, Jiffy and Skippy have been around. Most of the time I took Jiffy. Tastes like cardboard, tastes like crap. It was the cheapest one. I never dawned on me. I'm like, why isn't somebody getting sued? And I was like, somebody should be suing Jiffy because it looks to me like they took Skippy and Jif and put it together and made a peanut butter. But apparently that's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people, it's always been spelled Jiff, and some other people say, yeah, Jiff used the term Jiffy, and other people are saying, no, Jiff didn't exist. It was always Jiffy. Now it's Jiff, and like, now for me, and this is for me, all three were on the shelf at the same time. That doesn't mean one of them wasn't phasing and shifting at the time I saw it, but I do recall Jiff, Jiffy, and Skippy on the shelf at the same time. How zeroed in was I as a kid looking for peanut butter? Not really. I wasn't doing my shopping. My mother was. When I got older, it was the pizza steak, the cheesesteak, and the hoagies and pizzas around the corner. I wasn't out shopping all the time either. But I do recall, have vivid memories of picking up Jiffy and having to choose between those three. Peter Pan was also in that. I don't think I've ever bought Peter Pan peanut butter. Wow, how did I get off on this? I remember. So the guy's sitting there and I'm talking about the Jiffy, and Skippy. And he's just, what? I said, well, Jiffy never existed. He goes, oh, and he goes off. You'll see it on a film I have somewhere, I'm sure. You'll see it sometime. I should just put it up. It's a 3-minute video. He's going, what are you talking about? They had banana Jiffy. I am 100% sure it was banana-flavored peanut butter. It was banana and peanuts. It was called Banana Jiffy, or Jiffy Banana. And it was banana-flavored peanut butter. I never heard of that. But you could see the look on the guy's face when he's describing and talking about it. And I really think hope I got that much on film. I really don't know. I think I must, because I have his original look when he's looking at me like, what do you mean Jiffy doesn't exist? Sure it does. But yeah, he was very distinctive, but he's telling me, yeah. And then we started getting into death as a catalyst. And I said, well, do me a favor, don't try and kill yourself because you can. He looks me right over at me. He goes, there is something that won't allow it. Like what? He goes, the computer program or some kind of program will not let you kill yourself. I'm like, what? He goes, I've tried. I was like, oh my God. I said, well, you probably succeeded on multiple timelines. Your consciousness shifted into a timeline where you didn't succeed. And the family members and people that where on the timelines that you did succeed are going to be very, very distant from you. And he's just looking at me like, huh? Yeah, it was very interesting. It was interesting because he's staring at my shirt and wanted to get away from it for the longest time. And he says, I'm just randomly coming through this town. I ain't never been around here. I walk into this random bar that looks kind of cool, and I'm running into what I'm trying to run away from. I said, well, take that as a sign. There was quite a few good conversations. Some of them were just, I back off right away. Oh, excuse me, I got to get some, because they start with I have a good question. And I asked this on one of the live streams or whatever, somewhere. Why is it that almost every time I bring up a Mandela effect and start talking about it, people ask me if I'm a flat earther? I don't like being associated with that. I don't care. I don't know what it is. I know it's not what they're telling us. I used to say, I know it's not a ball spinning and flying through space. Yeah, I really lean towards that because of the experiences that I've had. But I still don't know. I'm also under the impression it could still be some sort of ball or maybe half ball or something, but it's tons bigger than they're telling us. It could be an infinite plane. It could be anything. We don't know. I don't think it's flat. This thing came out of nowhere. There's an agenda there. I think maybe possibly, I don't know. They're so determined that it's flat. That bothers me because nobody knows, man. Nobody knows, and we're not going to know. And the only thing that we really should be zeroed in on is what is in our perception. what is around us. Now, the computer gives us a larger perception if we want it. But this is one of the things I said we should not be focusing on. We should be focusing on our lives. And what we want, what we desire, not what other programs want us to experience, not what other programs want us to desire, and to dumb down our feelings so we can't create properly. So we end up creating and reverting back to the 3D world where they have control again, and that's all they want. They just want to keep their thing going, and infinitely, I'm sure it's going to. But it's your choice. And I think a lot of the people that are distant from us chose to, not move on yet, because it's quantum, it's infinite. Everybody will, and everybody will in their own time. It's a story I've been wanting to get out. Also, as far as death being a catalyst, back in late 90s, I had a dream that my brother passed. My brother died. In my dream, I decided no, and I rewound the dream. It actually happened. I don't remember a lot of my dreams at all, and this was so powerfully real. It was strange. It was me, Steve, and my brother died. I don't know how. It was a fall of some sort. And I rewound it and changed the situation and came out of it. Now, after all of my experiences the last few years, I've come to the idea that back in the 90s when I had that experience, I had that dream, my brother may have died on many timelines, because it was at that point where he became distant from me. We're still close, but distant. I'd say we're still close. I just got in an argument with the guy over nothing through a text. I don't need that. It's the first time I've talked to him in 4 months, if you want to call that talking. Back then, when that happened, after that happened, it was like I just didn't talk to him as much. He changed jobs. He moved to New York. Had another child. It was like a lot of changes for him, from my perspective. So for him, for my family, for a lot of people in my family, he probably passed. Now, with that dream, what did I do? I chose to change that and exist in a timeline where he did not pass. I think that happened. And now I'm here, and it's like, yeah, we really don't talk that much. And, he's where he is, and I'm where I am. And I've tried bringing this stuff up to him. Oh, no. He'll straight out tell me, just join the Illuminati, man. What is your problem? Why not just go with it? Who cares? But that I find that interesting, because I really think that happened. He died, and I kept him alive. And from my perspective, for whatever reason, almost a reason not needed, since I don't interact with him a lot. But yeah, it would have changed me. So maybe that was acceptable, or maybe I just consciously did what I was supposed to do to shift myself into that timeline. I mean, this happened in a dream state. Quite amazing. I got notes around here I could probably bring up. Oh, did that. A lot of people see the Mandela effects as a conspiracy. Well, this goes along with that other thing. The people that do see it as a conspiracy, their dominant consciousness is often a timeline, experiencing 3D reality, reincarnating, and the whole bit. We don't reincarnate. We just shift into another timeline until we were probably ready to actually leave this realm. When we've figured, learned everything we think we needed to learn, and we probably choose on our own. We probably choose when we want to go. And a lot of you go, oh yeah, well, I want out now. You really don't, because you're not. You got to line it up with your heart, man. Because if you're into this and you're seeing the Mandela effects, you don't want to just get out. no. What do they say? What do they say? It's not the destination. It's the travels. You really don't, because I really don't. I don't think it's. I think there are traps within this, but I don't think we're in a trap. But I think there are traps within it. You come along, you find something that you enjoy, and you get sucked into it, and you trapped, and then you move on from that, and But I think I said everything I needed to say right now. I'm going to kick myself when I stop this and start it over, because there's so much been going on with me and with what I've been wanting to do and say, and a lot of times I want to get down to a video and I just jump on my book and keep editing it. I swear I was done 8,000 words ago. And now I'm looking into publishing it myself. Anybody has any information on that, that'd be great, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to sit down and read this a few times and figure out exactly what I got to do. Because the one publisher was not affected, blew me off as a joke, told her I'd call her back. The next one, I did expose her to the Mandela effects, and a week or two later, she quit. But I really want to. I just want to publish it and edit it myself. I know what I'm doing. I can do it. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Although one of these books that I got done reading, I believe it. Yeah, this one, I do like it. I'm not done, but he spelled Mandela 4 different ways in this book. I stopped because it was constantly reading over passages from the Bible that I'm just not familiar with. I mean, obviously, there's probably words I'm like, I am an alien in their sight, or I don't know what words here are different, but obviously some of the stuff's obvious. Like, there's no way that word would be in the Bible. It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. They could have changed it. I also noticed about the Bible changes, it's the King James Bible. I got this Catholic Bible over here, New American Version. I couldn't find any changes in it that people were saying. I'm sure there's some in here. I keep picking out their passages and looking for changes, and I don't see it. Hey, one of those, I'm on John, one of those talk shows, probably Mandela Monday, we're talking about, hey, what's your favorite chapter in a book? It might not, I shouldn't say that. I've been watching a few different shows and not commenting and stuff. What's your favorite chapter? What's your favorite book? And people just started talking about Bible chapters, and I thought, man, I didn't say. Somebody else said a different book. I don't know if they meant Bible chapters or not. I think I'm going to read through John. I think a lot of our answers are in that. It's just something that came to me a while ago. So, I guess that's all. I don't think I have. Oh, you know what else I want to ask people? If you've actually stayed with me this long, next door they are doing a trivia night, March 1st. I gave me that date if I want to do trivia that night. Probably take an hour or two. Luke will do the emceeing, and I'll be filming it. And he's going to explain the Mandela effect right up front. This, I don't know how he's going to word it. People think people are misremembering. Some people think we're shifting into different timelines. Some people think we're in a computer program. But we're going to ask you a series of questions where there may be more than one answer, and whatever. So he's going to explain it to them. I'll talk to him about that. But what I need is 45 questions based on the Mandela effect, and 5 things you can draw. An example. The 45 questions, I'm going through all this going, well, I don't know how I'm going to word that, because what I was going to do is 10 spelling quizzes, 10 product questions, 10 movie, maybe pop questions, maybe 10 geography questions, but I don't even know how to word those. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but I also need 5 drawings. Now I was wondering, should I do something like draw Curious George? See how many people draw a tail. Draw the Ford symbol, because I don't know how I would question that. Draw the Ford F. But what I'm looking for your help with is, if you wouldn't mind commenting down below a series of questions, how you would word them for a trivia night. And I'm going to film this thing and post it. So, by the way, the whole topic that I got on, it being quantum, and how much should we really try and wake people up? I don't think it matters one way or the other. I think they're going to wake up when they want. I think if you did say something to them and they're starting to wake up, I think then that's what was supposed to happen. I think what we really seriously can shift. I don't think we have to wait for anything. I don't think we can do it now. I think things are going to be pushed on us more until we figure things out, to learn, to grow. All right, good enough. 31 minutes. I hope I said something meaningful. I hope I had a little more content than that Poppy chick. Guys, I really want to get on like the Saturday night show and the Monday night show. I'm off Tuesdays and Fridays, if you can even call it off, because I'm always running around, I always on call, whatever. Because if somebody don't show up, I got to be there. It was funny because one time I took time off and Photo Helix is like, oh, he gave his. I said, yeah, they gave me off this day. They gave himself off. I'm like, well, yeah, kind of, but not really. Anyway, guys, so much I want to say. I'll just save it for the next video if I get on soon or do it again. Later.